New York City is in busy day and night. It's full of noise, neon lights, entertainment. And its people are in the same situation too. They do everything with fast pace. However, in such noisy and busy city, there are still many people can give themselves a space to concentrate on reading. How could they do that? Why they read? There are so many questions, and let's go to find out.
Fly me to the moon and let me play.
Bookstore is always a favorite place of those people who love books. They feel excited when getting into there. Bookstore is quiet and can satisfy people's need of books. Many people not just buy books in the bookstore, they also sit on the floor and read books there.
How much time do you spend on book every day?
Because I have to read for university work and a lot of time. But if left to my own means, probably 3 to 4 hours a day.
People they don't have enough time to read because they have to work in university. So how do you deal with this conflict?
Audiobooks. Probably plug in an audiobook and then they can read.
What kind of books do you like?
I usually read non-fiction books, history, pretty much on any. I've been reading a lot about military history recently, about the War of 1812 and the development of fortifications in the American Civil War.
So you really go to the bookstore to buy books?
I come to this bookstore and I come to the other branch of this bookstore,
So
112th Street.
you prefer to buy books or read books on the computer or iPad?
I prefer to read books,
Read
paper books. Yeah.
Why do you think that reading books is better for you?
I just like the feel of the paper, and I'd like to be able to hold the book and then be able to go back quickly and just look at the pages. And sometimes if they're photographs or depending on what the text was, sometimes I can find things quicker just by paging back through. I may use more ebooks in the future, but I still like to look at books on a shelf, and so it's just I still like the paper.
So what can you benefit from reading?
I read a lot for work, and I read a lot in my spare time. I just get smarter.
Again, you get wise.
Right, exactly. You get wiser.
And also, I want to know that New York is very busy city, and you have to work, have to study, and maybe sometimes you have no time to read books. So how can you come with about learning?
I read on the bus.
For the bus?
On the bus, yeah.
On the
I take
subway?
Not on the subway. I take the bus because you can sit down. And it takes a little longer, and so you get a little more time to read. So I like to read on the bus.
Today, the sunshine is bright and the sky is blue. On the campus of Columbia University, everything looks very nice, and this cozy environment makes people have desire to read. So let's go to find some people who are reading now and see what they think about reading and reading itself. How many times do you read books? Not for study, just for what you like.
Once a week, one book a week, one book. Yeah.
Why you choose to read here? The library is just over there. Why did you go to the library?
Because now it's sunny and warm, and it's nice to read outside.
Don't worry about that people around work all the time and they won't bother you.
No, I don't mind.
That's great. And we all know that New York City is a busy city and people are always very busy. And how can you reconcile about the conflict between the study and reading?
I think you can always make time because, for example, in the subway you always have time to read. Yeah. And I mean, when you're going somewhere you always have some time, and we always wait for one thing or another. So I use those times, and I really like reading fiction. So it's really important.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I do.
Which kind of book do you prefer to read?
Fiction, but I also like biography.
So alone, I mean, how many times do you spend on reading every day?
Not much. As a grad student in science, I don't have so much time to read. So today is a special day, I guess.
Your city is very busy city, and you can feel it. It's very busy, and people have to work, have to study for a long time, and so sometimes you may have no time to read books.
Right.
Yes, and how can you cope with the problem?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on people's priorities, right?
Yeah.
Or depending on work and family and reading, I feel like reading is not a high priority.
When people want to read books, the first place comes to mind is library.
It is a very quiet place and always creates a nice atmosphere of reading. What's more, it houses millions of books so that people can find whatever they need.
Okay,
And let's see what they say.
go hang your heart on.
The Isaacson Einstein book, and I'm reading Gaelick's Kennedy book.
I often borrow books from library
Oh yeah,
and buy books.
I understand. The advantage of the library is that I get to see things that I might not have otherwise come across as I'm walking. Yeah, you know, I mean, I could certainly be on the web surfing on Amazon, or I could be on the web surfing for books. But there's still something wonderful about walking through the library and seeing new releases, or going through the shelves and having something catch your eye. I'm sure a question that you've been thinking of is what's going to happen to libraries in the 21st century. Will they exist? I really don't know. I was in the New York Public Library, the main branch. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful building, monumental architecture, amazing, and it's thriving.
What kind of book do you like?
I'm a teacher, and I work with kids in middle school and high school, and I really like young adult fiction.
Fiction in high school. And why do you choose to read in library?
Well, right now I'm doing a literature search for textbook books for young people, so I spend a lot of time in libraries.
So you read books in here or work?
Not really. I tend to get books here and then I take them out.
And or reading?
In my daily life?
Yeah.
Well, because I'm a teacher, I spend a lot of time reading, whether I'm reading with students, or whether I'm reading books the students are reading, or whether I'm reading my own books for adults.
Many families spend their free time in a park. Indeed, it is actually a good place for people to relax and have fun with their friends. However, is park a good place for reading? Let's go and see what they say. First is, what kinds of books do you prefer?
Novels. Right now I'm reading novels about Jewish people.
Oh, novels about Jewish people. Oh, so why do you choose to read this kind of book?
Because I'm Jewish.
Oh.
And I'm very much into Judaism.
Okay, so how long have you been kept this habit of reading?
I read all my life since I was a child. I love reading.
So, and what benefits do you think you can get from reading?
You learn a lot. You learn new vocabulary. You learn a lot of facts that you didn't know. And it's very enjoyable, relaxing.
Okay, I think that's all. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Subway is a very noisy place. The trains rush in and out of the station with harsh noise. They were saying that the temperature of the ground is so high. It's unlikely for people to focus on reading in such disturbing surroundings. However, we still found someone who can concentrate on reading regardless of whole noise and clamor. Here we go. Why do you choose to read on the subway?
Why do I choose to read on the subway?
Yeah.
Because it's the fastest way to get to where I'm going.
So you usually choose to read in the subway. For example, you have no time to read, and you only have the time to read on the subway.
No, I read on the subway subway, and I read when I'm not on the subway. But the subway is the fastest way to go. You don't have to drive in traffic. Somebody else is doing the driving for you.
But sometimes the subway, you can see the train is going and it's very noisy. And if you are on the subway, you also find that there's environment is so noisy. So you just stand it.
Well, it's not so, when you're on it, it's not so, it's not so noisy. There's noise, people are talking near the train, but you'll see people listening to their iPods and stuff on the train, so it's okay.
Why you choose to read in the subway?
I think it's an efficient use of my time.
Yeah. How do you think under such a huge noise it is possible for people to read in the subway?
I don't mind the noise. I ignore the noise. I think the reading helps me ignore the noise.
Oh.
During our trip to those locations in New York City and our communication with them, we discovered that many people, including students, workers, elders, and disabled in the city, still spend many of their time reading books. From the interviews with them, we found that they have different reading habits in terms of their purposes and schedules. They read books for relax or gain more knowledge. They could even stand and ignore the noise that is surrounding them while reading. Above all, we found that although they read different books in different places, one thing shared among our people is that they all
love reading.
I love reading.
I like reading.
I love reading.
I love reading.
And I love reading.